Well, welcome back, everyone. We are here at the inaugural event of Terranova here in southern Florida. I am joined for this very cool class, the CSI4 Star Short Show Jumping. I'm joined by Alex O'Neill. Welcome, Alex, to the show.
Thanks for having me, Karen. I'm excited to be here.
Well, and this is quite a story. Talk of the town is this property and this facility, I think.
Amazing.
I don't know that any of us expected to see quite what we saw when we drove in. It was really remarkable.
No, I think we're all very lucky to be here, and I think that the Herrig family and the Kettle Beater family have really opened their home and done us a great service in hosting this event. I think it's only going to get better, and I really don't have any complaints yet to knock the event. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, not at all.
I mean, how lucky is that?
Not at all.
Be here?
Maybe one less alligator in the pond. That'd be
maybe
about it.
Maybe one less. But how many events do you go to where you can say you saw an alligator?
That's
so
true.
We'll let them have it.
That's true. The event here at Terranova, it is the inaugural event hosted at the Terranova Equestrian Center. The 3-day event produced by Events at Terranova, hosting starter level all the way through to CSI4 Star Short. It's been thoughtfully created by some of the most experienced, creative, and innovative minds in the equestrian sport. Their goal is to become a destination event for both competitors and spectators near and far. And that certainly has happened this weekend.
Absolutely.
Something like 7 nations and 26 states in the United States are represented.
Unbelievable. And speaking of international entries, we've got our first horse, which is Clip Clop and Joe Meyer. Joe representing New Zealand, and Clip Clop is owned by Teresa Foote of Michigan, now lives down here in Naples, so a great facility to come watch your horse compete at.
Absolutely. Their course is slightly different than the 2-star. And he has that front rail. The horse just got a little low in the last stride and caught it on the way up, and then he has the front rail of the following oxer at 4B. So that's 2. Poor Joe, he had a beautiful cross-country round on both of his horses, with the exception of a trip up the step on both horses at the first water.
He did, and it was really, I would say, unlucky, because I think that bank, when I looked at that, was just not big enough to hold the horses, and I think if they jumped up a bit shuffly or small, that they didn't cover the distance in the bounce, and I think Joe really paid for that, unfortunately.
He did that, the same thing that he did in front of the third fence, where he just lowers to those square oxers, and the front rail becomes even bigger than and then there's another front rail on an oxer. And then he misses that forward momentum at the end, and the horse just sat down behind. And now they've stopped the clock. They have to reset the jump.
Just not Joe's weekend.
It certainly isn't.
Where I saw him on the cross country, other than that water jump, he really was giving the horses a great ride.
Beautiful ride.
Really positive riding, and sometimes it just doesn't come off, and Joe will come back next time and be hungry for that prize. I know it.
So now when they ring the bell again, he'll reapproach 11A. He's got 11B, and then the final fence at 12. Has that down.
That was a tough spin for Joe. It
Sure
looked like
was.
Clippy was just maybe a little tired, and he's not the youngest horse in the field. He might just be getting up there, and sometimes the job just gets harder as they get older, and just not his weekend, but he'll be back for another one, that's for sure.
So his final score for the weekend on Clip Clop's going to be 88.1. Now we have Missy Miller riding Quinn coming in.
And this is a beautiful horse, Karen.
It's a lovely horse.
I didn't get to see it go yesterday, but I know from seeing it in the past, it's just an amazing jumper and a real athlete.
She had a great round, and I thought it was just looking super, and then he just had that duck out at the corner. First fence down, that's a shame there.
Quinn ran just a little against her in that first line. It's tough to get the shape back into these horses in such a quick amount of time. We teach them to go low and fast cross country, and then we expect them to throw a beautiful shape and use their back and neck in the show jumping. And sometimes you just have days where it's easier and days where it's harder. And it looks like Quinn's just trying to find that shape again here with Missy.
And there he actually did start to use a little bit of shape, but he didn't kick up high enough and had that down on the way up. So that is 2 down for her.
Good jump over the Liverpool there.
Nice there.
And you see that nice level 7 strides. That
Yeah.
sets the horses up to jump in a nice shape right out of rhythm. And that's what we're looking for.
Gets a
in
good
this
shot at
phase.
the 10th fence, the Oxer, and now, yeah, very good over the in and out. And that was a nice sweeping 9 strides to the last fence. So there were some really, really nice parts to that show jumping round.
Very well done. It'll be interesting as we go here to see how many clear rounds we see in this arena. It's a new ring. Everybody's kind of trying to get a feel for how to ride this course. It's a different designer than we're used to. So it'll be interesting to see how people adapt to that and how things change throughout the class here.
Even from the very beginning of the day, the show jumping has become very influential. You know, it was lovely to see in that last class the top 3 riders all jumped clear.
Yeah, that was
and,
great.
you know, had they not, it would have really mixed things up. So it still became quite influential. So she finishes her weekend on a 92.2. They go in reverse order, but because Joe has 2 horses, he went ahead of Missy. But now we are back onto the reverse order.
Now we have Leslie Law and Typically Fernhill. This is an amazing 9-year-old gelding that Leslie found in Ireland a few years ago. Craig McCallum, the owner, has been a great supporter of Leslie with this horse and another young one. And this is a real jumping horse, Karen.
Oh, I know, and you know, I know Craig and Aaron quite well, and I've been watching this horse all year, and I know Craig's super excited about him. So a shout out to both of them. I'm not sure if they're in Ocala or Texas, but I know they're watching.
Leslie just gets him close there in 8. It looked like maybe he was looking for 7, but added 1, but jumped out well of that.
Yes, very scopy. Yeah, you know, he gets down to, it's a little bit like the last class, the top riders in the standings, they get down to the distance so the horse can be backing off of the front rail, which is so important.
Beautiful
Super,
ride there in
super.
7.
So Leslie is running also out of order. He's actually, this horse is in 5th place. Was 2nd after dressage with a 27.2, 19.6 time to be overnight in 5th place on a 46.8. And those scores in the top 6 are very, very close.
And that was a beautiful
That was a
clear for
beautiful clear
Leslie.
round that's going to be very influential in the group. Your leading scorer, Jenny Jarnstrom's on a 41.6, and so Leslie's on a 46.8. So we'll see how this all shakes down, but it's very close at the top.
Now we've got Zach Brandt on direct advance.
We were just had Zach Brandt in the booth just a bit ago,
All right.
and he did a great job.
And this is a very keen jumping horse. It'll be fun to see what he does over these show jumps. I think Zach gave him a nice steady round yesterday to keep him from being too exuberant for his next event
Yeah,
this
he
fall,
was
which
telling
should
me
be
that he got
Tryon.
really strong yesterday. You know, I think sometimes the flat ground, you know, it sets them to getting going, and he did a good job of keeping him really under wraps. But the other side of that is taking the time faults, and so
Right.
he is out there yesterday really working on the horse's education across the cross country. So he comes into the show jumping.
beautiful ride down the first line for Zach. Just giving him a really level ride. Comes around to number 3 here.
Yeah, super. Horse is such a good jumper, huh?
He is. Tons of scope. Gets a little bit unruly, but Zach's done a good job to put that shape back into him for this phase. Quite a big horse. It doesn't really look like it when Zach goes around on him, but when you stand next to him. Just a
We
little
had that
deep
front
there.
bar down.
There's a big, scopy, big strided horse.
Now he has time to get the shape back for this last line. It's hard to, or for this diagonal line, it's hard to, you know, when they start to come up above the bit, and you know, but he's done a great job getting him round again for this combination. Super. Yeah, nice job. Now he makes a nice turn, squaring it up, and this final challenging line.
Very nice. Just the last for Zach here. Hopefully that one down will be all he adds. He's a nice shot to that. Good job, Zach.
Very good, very good. So he adds 4 to his score, and he will finish up. I haven't heard any time faults. And he finishes up on a 88. We did have a couple of time faults.
You know, and at this stage, Karen, when you have a horse that gets a little strong and you decide to school, do you think you come into the show jumping and try to do something similar, where you give him a nice,
Yeah, I think
confident
that
round?
you know what builds confidence in a horse is good experiences,
Right.
and that was a very good experience for that horse. Robin Walker in the irons on his own SBT Barola.
And this is a really nice Irish horse Robin's been bringing along for a number of years. I think he started his eventing career himself.
Yes.
So it's a big, I want to say this is his first 4 short. I know he's done a few advanced. So Robin will be looking for a little bit like Zach, a nice steady clear round, trying to take his time and put that shape back into this nice horse.
So Robin comes into the show jumping in 10th place. He was 31.7 in the dressage, 33.2 in the time cross country with a clear jumping round for entering 58.2.
Just ticked that front rail behind with this horse going down that line, Karen. He just came against him a little bit.
And that, as well.
Bummer.
So yeah, Robin's coming in on 64.9, so he's just added 8. So that's 72 now, 0.9 at the moment. You can see Robin working on the horse's top line as he's making that turn to these difficult lines that are coming up. And it's true, you know, the cross country is not always easy on the horse's temperament and their go-to frame, you know.
Right.
And that's what we try very hard to keep bringing them back into a show jumping idea. He gets that clear, but I know he wouldn't be happy with how the horse inverted on him. And Robin does quite a bit of show jumping himself in
Right.
Ocala, and so he knows a lot about show jumping. He's a wonderful instructor, and he's just a great horseman. I have so much respect for him.
You know,
So-
for a first timer or a young horse coming to this level, Robin won't be too bothered about those rails. The
No.
horse tried, he wasn't spooky, the atmosphere didn't get to him, so he'll just head home and keep chipping away, and he knows that clear round's coming here at some point.
So now we have coming into the ring Megan Maronovich Burdick on Riviera Lou.
This is a Brazilian sport horse, I think.
I
Karen,
know.
right? A little different
Big
than some of the
rangy
other
looking horse,
horses,
huh?
But I would bet you it's bred similarly to some of these other horses in the field.
Yeah.
Got a thoroughbred influence. You can see in this horse's gallop, he's got a great big stride, and he loves the cross country. He gave her a great round yesterday.
Yeah, it's super round, it's very impressive. 35.4 in the dressage and 22.8 on the time. She comes in on a 58.2. If you're just joining us, I'm Karen O'Connor, and I'm joined by Alex O'Neill, and we are at the event at Terranova, and we're watching the CCI 4-star short show jumping. This is the final day of competition for all of the riders, and when the horses do the show jumping, we want clear rounds to not to add any penalty points to their cumulative score from the 2 days. Megan's having a very good round so far. Alex, what do you think about?
I think it's interesting watching this horse. So he,
We just had
bummer
that
there.
down.
He's got that little bit higher head carriage, higher neck set. You can see Megan's just holding on to him and staying a bit behind him, which I thought was working really well in the first kind of tour of the ring. But now it looks like he's just coming against her and not quite holding off the front rail. But hopefully she can put some shape back into him down these next lines. There we go. She's starting to get that groove back she had in the first 4 fences. Just adds an extra one there, but he jumps around it. And with these good jumping keen horses, Karen, it's hard to put that shape into him without kind of disheartening him, isn't it?
He looks like he's really quite spooky as well. I mean, I don't know the horse at all, but on there, that's a shame. He's a big horse and he has a big step, so he jumps in and doesn't leave him enough room there for the B element, but really good over the last fence.
3 down there for Megan, so she'll be disappointed in that. I thought that started really well, and then he just started to get a bit spooky and hold off the fences a bit more than he did in the first half.
Yeah, she had 3.2 time penalties as well, so she will finish her weekend with a 73.4 on Riviera Lou. Now we have Mark Grandia coming into the arena on Campari FFF. This horse is owned by Team Rebecca, LLC, and I was really, really impressed with this rider and horse yesterday cross country. I've never watched them go, and I think looking at his record, he's from the West Coast. But what a great cross country ride he had.
Yeah, and I saw a couple moments of Mark yesterday on this horse. I thought he looked really athletic through the water. I thought he threw some really kind of cool jumps. I thought he got up that bank a bit funny and just shuffled out really well. And Mark did a great job just staying in the middle of him and finding that confidence from one fence to another. He's an 11-year-old Holsteiner, so I would imagine he's just coming to this level, as I haven't seen him before. And I know Mark's from the West Coast, but we all kind of keep an eye on those leaderboards, and I think this horse is just coming up to this level, Karen.
Well, and I have seen throughout the weekend Sarah Broussard, who is the brain behind Team Rebecca. She's here volunteering and helping with the organizational side of this competition, and the Broussard family, they are involved at every angle of the sport, including ownership of horses. So it's amazing family.
They're an amazing influence on everybody that comes in the ring and jumps around, aren't they?
Yeah, they really
great
are.
People. Mark is doing a great job on this horse. He's just giving him a really nice level ride, letting the horse work around, throwing a beautiful shape around these jumps.
Well, and he's on a 53.9, which is a very competitive score. If he can get this horse to jump clear over this last jump.
Here we go, Mark.
Come on, Mark. Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great ride.
And what a showing for somebody from the West Coast to come out here and just put their foot down and jump a beautiful clear. Awesome.
So he is the clubhouse leader at the moment with a 53.9.
I would say next to Leslie, that was probably the ride of the day so far, wasn't it, Karen? He kept the horse really level. Mark had great balance. He did a great job in there. We've got Nielsen da Silva next, riding for Brazil on Rock Phantom. This is another young horse Nielsen's just been chipping away with, producing to the advanced level. He's had some good finishes on him. The show jumping has been a bit of a weak phase, but Nielsen's always working hard trying to bring the best out of these horses, so we'll see what he can do today after a good cross-country run yesterday. Bummer at that first obstacle.
What a shame.
He got that one down.
Oh dear. I don't know really what happened there because we're seeing it from head on.
And he's jumping evenly in front. It looks like maybe he's just a bit tired. He's just not giving it enough air. Another one goes for Nielsen. That first combination, the 4B, the front rail of the Oxer.
5 stays up.
And this is a rider, Karen. Are you going back to kind of what's worked in the past? Are you adjusting as it's going wrong? What do you think here?
Well, I think that, you know, it's always going to be about your connection and then your technique to try to help the horse when they're tired. And so that's why the riders will use a little bit more of the turn to stay out in the turn to give themselves more time to reestablish rhythm. It's just the horse is jumping very low and probably just a bit tired from yesterday. He jumps the last very well.
3 down for Nielsen.
Yeah, that's really a pity.
So right now at the top we've got Leslie Law in first on typically Fernhill, Mark Grandia on his horse, and then we've got, I believe, Megan Burdick below that.
Kyle Carter, ready or not, next in the ring. This is owned by Christy Edwards.
This has been a great mare for Kyle to get back going at the advanced level. She's a real trier. She's a very kind horse, and I know Kyle thinks a lot of her. Christy Edwards very tragically passed away a few years back, and this horse is ridden in her memory, and I know that Kyle would just be going in the ring today to do the best for her and give this mare a great ride.
Sure.
Hopefully he can get her little legs up in the air and show us how to jump a third clear round for this class. It's proven to be a tough day of jumping in this ring, hasn't it?
It really has. I'm quite surprised at every single level, including the early morning classes.
I think it's interesting. I think we're used to a lot of 5, 6, 7 stride related distances, and this is a really big ring, and he's decided to use it. So I think you're relying on the rider's eyes and making them hold the balance of the horse
And
a lot more than you
reestablishing.
would. Yeah. Chris Barnhart is a course designer we're really used to seeing, and he uses those related distances to set the horses up and get the riders in gear, but this is a very different style from what I've seen the last couple months.
Well, Kyle's having a great round so far. I just
He
jinxed him.
it. He
Oh my
just
gosh, I'm
got
so
right
sorry.
up under that Oxer, didn't he?
So sorry.
And added one down that line. Another one goes for Kyle there.
Yeah.
The mare, after a big day yesterday, just looks
Got to get it
little
a little tired.
doesn't it?
He's struggling to get his rhythm back on the mare. It's better. At the end, he decides he can't get there in 6, so he tries to add up for 7, and he just doesn't have enough room to do it that quickly. Yeah, she's jumping the individual oxers quite well, but it's when the math is there and she's a little bit tired. I think that it makes it more challenging for sure. But so he will add
4 down for Kyle.
4 down.
There, so 16, and it looks like he might have had just a bit of time as well.
5 down.
5 down. Ah, what about
Boy. Mm. And two time penalties, so 72.1 for the finishing score. Elisa Wallace, Let It Be Lee. She had a terrific ride yesterday.
And what a great thing to watch a thoroughbred gallop in cross
Boy,
country. I saw
it was
Lisa
so fun.
jump the Oxer, and then she actually opted to take the option at the corner. But man, you'd have thought his tail was on fire. She was flying. She did a great job.
And we're down to our top 4 horses. We have Leslie Law on a 46.8, so Elisa, she can have 1 second over, and that's all to stay in her place.
And this horse is a former Kyle Carter ride, actually. She bought it from Kyle. He produced it up to the 3-star level. And then Elisa was lucky enough to get some owners together to buy him and continue his education.
Yeah, and she's done a great job with him. Yesterday was just wonderful to watch. Oh boy, that was close. You know, she's doing a good job because his tendency is to want to jump a little bit at it, but she has enough poise in her position that she can hold him a little bit off the jump as well.
See Elisa just using her body there to balance the horse and hold him off that front rail.
Oh, what a shame. So that Liverpool, you know, it hasn't been coming down too much, but again, he just jumped a little bit at it, and there goes another. Setting up for this last line.
Good shot there for Elisa. Through the one, very tidy, just the last for her.
He scooted just a little left in that last ride, didn't he? It's funny. But she has just the 2 down. And 0.4 time.
Just 1 second over for Elisa. And I think, given how this horse has gone this year, I think she'll be all right with that. I think there's a lot more to come.
Oh, I think
from
so
her.
too. Yeah, she's been really working hard on the show jumping, and that's a big improvement from the last time I saw him.
A lot of similarities to her former 5-star horse that she had so much success on.
Yeah, Johnny, I think they look very similar.
Almost a carbon copy. She got so many great things out of that horse. I think she'll have a good idea of what she needs to do with this guy.
Joe Meyer back with his second horse, this time Buccaneer. Lovely horse. I really enjoyed watching this horse go yesterday.
Really good jumping horse.
Very
good. As he's known in the barn. Another one that Joe's been bringing along for a number of years now. He's got a great team of owners behind this horse, and just got caught out at that bank. I mean, I think that I don't know who was more surprised, Joe or the horse, but that bank
I think everybody was.
Just was not big enough. It just did not do its job for Joe.
So he's show jumping out of order, obviously, because he has the 2 horses. So because of the stop, the trip up the bank yesterday, he comes in with a 70
before this,
12th, yeah, 79.2.
Even though it wasn't Joe's day yesterday, this is a great course to build this horse's experience on. I know he was hoping to go to Tryon to do the 4 long on these horses in a few weeks, so if he can give this a good spin around here, he'll be feeling really confident. Tryon's got a great atmosphere. Bummer there, but he'll be really looking forward to seeing what these horses do.
Oh, there it goes, and just like Elise.
Just adds an extra one there on B's.
And there goes another.
Good through the 1 stride, just
Did
the last for Joe.
Did that, nice. And the last jump's jumping really well.
Good front end on this.
So the 2 down, adding 8 to his score. And 1 second over, so.
Not Joe's weekend, but he'll be back at this venue next year, and he'll be hungry for it, so nothing to worry about for Joe.
It's not, you know, it goes that way, doesn't it?
Sure does.
You finish your 3 days and you're like, okay, I'm ready to start again.
Yeah. Think about this. You're going to wake up the next day, the sun's going to come out.
Absolutely.
It really doesn't matter. There's always
you get perspective.
Yeah, you do. There's always something to look forward to.
And coming now into 3rd position is Sarah Kozimplick-Murphy, and she is on Rubens. How do you say that?
I think it's Rubens Dessous.
Rubens Dessous.
And this is an amazing jumping horse, isn't it, Karen? I know
I just love this horse.
Small Grand Prix on him this year, and man, you'd think he could
produced
do
to
that job too.
Produced to the 4-star level by Miki Kuchka. She did a great job with him also, and then handed the reins over to Sarah, and it's been such a wonderful partnership.
an unbelievable hind end on this horse.
Yes.
He just shoots out off the floor like a
Now
bullet out
Sarah
of a gun.
is already enjoying one win in the clubhouse with her other horse, and she knows how important a clear round is
What
today.
a jumper.
What a good jumper. So we talked a little bit about the horses opening up behind to get higher up over the back rail, and this is a horse that has that flexibility behind.
And what an advantage to be sitting on one like this, Karen.
When they open their hocks over the top of the jump instead of
Absolutely.
closing their hocks.
Those mechanics just give you a huge advantage over some of these other horses that need help to open up behind. You see this one's got no hind boots. It's very natural for him. Beautiful.
It's like he reads the size of the jump, and she knew what was coming there.
Yeah.
I mean, she did not hang around coming off of the one stride in and out. And she's getting up there in the 6th, so she can hold him off of it.
Great
One
bit of
fence
footwork
from
there.
a clear round. This is so nail biting. Wow.
What a great
Did he
ride.
give that some room or what?
Wow, what a horse.
That was so exciting to watch. Sarah is having, she needs to go get a lottery ticket.
She does. She
She's
needs to
had
go
a
buy
great
Florida
weekend.
Gold Scratcher right now.
Yeah, no
See if
kidding.
she can cash in on some of this good mojo.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Sarah's had a lot to do with this venue coming to fruition, so she'll be so grateful to have such good spins the first year it's come to life.
Absolutely.
Now we've got Leslie Law and
Leslie-
Lady Chatterley,
Yeah.
owned by Jackie and Steve Brown, great supporters of both Leslies. I know they're here watching. I saw them yesterday, so they'll be biting their nails here.
Well, we jump every jump with these guys, don't we? I
Right.
mean, you're out on the cross country course and you just watch anybody that's connected to that horse and their leg is jerking over every jump when they're on the ground watching.
Absolutely. What an exciting finish here. So Leslie's on 41.9. What did Sarah finish on there, Karen?
Sarah's on a 44.5.
Okay.
So it is within a rail for these top 2 riders to stay out in front of Sarah.
Leslie just giving that mare a beautiful level ride down to that combination. This is only this horse's second start at this level.
Wow.
She was very successful at the 3-star level. His wife produced her to that level, and then Leslie took the ride on, I believe, last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really gotten some great wins out of the horse. He did the Stable View 4-star a few weeks ago, had a great spin there. So this is a very exciting horse for him for the future.
Wow. I love it when the rail goes up off the cups and comes right back down in
Wow,
the cups.
That was something. And Leslie,
And Leslie, that was a great aggressive
that
ride
mare,
to the.
I don't know if you guys can see it at home, but there's a big panel underneath that jump, and man, that mare held, but Leslie just smoked her up over it.
And
Come on,
one to go, Leslie.
One to go for the W.
Gets it done.
What a ride.
That's beautiful. 2 beautifully clear rounds from Leslie today.
What a masterful
That's
ride.
very exciting. That puts a ton of pressure on our overnight leader, Jenny Jarnstrom Dennis. But what a ride.
Leslie did a great job. That mare just held off that music note, but he gave her enough support to get her up there, but not enough to flatten her and take the
Yeah.
jump out of her. That was such a great
And you
feel.
you can't necessarily teach that.
You
That's the
It's experience, and it's a lot of hitting the deck. It's a lot of figuring something out the wrong way and then fixing it the next time. It's just all feel and experience.
and
isn't
it's
it?
also the intangible that you can't really describe
Right.
because it's your moment alone to do whatever you think is the right thing to do. As David says, I can tell you the moment's coming and I can tell you missed the moment, but I can't do the moment for you because that's yours.
That's exactly right. Jenny,
Another lovely horse.
another beautiful horse. Jenny from Sweden, originally resides in Apopka, Florida now, so fairly local to this show. I know she's got a lot of students here and a lot of supporters.
She was
So
5th
they'll all
after.
be cheering her on.
Yeah, for sure. 30.8 in dressage, put her in 5th, but then with only 10.8 time, she's in the top spot. And she must Not putting pressure on. She needs to jump clear. She can't even be a second over. Oh, there it goes.
There it went. What a bummer.
I'm sad for her. And there goes a second and a third. Whoa. Come on, keep the wraps on.
Come on, Flower Girl. She's still got plenty of jump in there. Just a little bit of a misjudge of the combination there. The mare just didn't quite cover the back rail of that oxer. Good girl. Oh, hold on, Jenny. She was good to stay on there.
Get it done, get it done.
Just didn't quite meet it on the right stride, did she?
Well, it goes down there in the 6, and we saw some riders land and just get right down there in the 6, and some that knew right away that they had to have 7, but...
the math doesn't change, does it?
No, it sure doesn't.
One number.
One or the other.
Leslie Law for the win in this inaugural 4-star short of the Terranova. The event at Terranova, rather. And what a finish that was. That was
First
amazing.
and third for Leslie, with Sarah being the meat between the bread. She got sandwiched between Leslie's bread.
Great
And
weekend for Sarah. First in the 3-star short, second in this class. Really strong showing for her horses and her owners.
Absolutely. Well, that's been an exciting round. It's an exciting division to watch.
Tell you what, I didn't think this walked terribly hard, but man,
It's hard enough.
what was I thinking? I wasn't in there doing it, I guess.
You know, when you look at the actual jumps themselves, there's not a lot of decorations to the jumps themselves. There's beautiful trees on the standards, but I think a lot of our horses are used to seeing some flowers and different
Right.
things that pop
That hold them off.
and that hold them up
from the
and also
jumps.
get them higher in the air.
Right.
And a lot of these jumps, the horses are able to look through, and that's something that's different for us.
It is, and it's again, figuring out what you need to do in that moment. Nobody can really tell you exactly when it's going to come or what's going to happen.
They can tell you it happened.
Yeah.
Monday morning quarterback is the easiest
Yep.
of all.
Yep.
Well, we've had some beautiful rides all weekend. Super exciting, these FEI classes to watch.
Just
That
another-
moved Jenny down to 6th place. Kyle Carter in 7th, and Nilson da Silva behind Kyle. So we're getting the win with the 41.9. Sarah with a 44.5. Awesome. Leslie again. And then Mark Grandia, Elisa Wallace, Jenny Jarnstrom, Nilson, Kyle Carter, Megan, Robin Walker. Look at the different countries that are represented.
So, it's not a huge division, Karen, but there's a lot of people from a lot of different places here.
That's
aren't
5
there?
countries.
Great Britain, Brazil, Canada, United States, New Zealand. Am I missing
Sweden.
any? Sweden, yep.
Very good.
How lucky are we? What a great venue to be able to enjoy our sport at. People that have put all their effort and time into this, it's absolutely paying off. What a great facility, and very tastefully done.
Well, now we have actually really the largest division in the competition is the CCI 2-star short, and you've got a player in that game,
I do. I've got 2 players in that game.
and they're actually placed
They're
pretty
all
well.
right.
They're
One's
doing.
in 5th and one's in 13th or 12th, I think.
So you'll be going out of order on Achiever,
Yep.
and the Penumbra horse is right up there. So I guess you've watched it firsthand at how important, Alex, a clear round is.
Man.
As I'm shaking him.
I'll just be pulling something out of something in there, that's for sure. These are really young horses, so if I can go in and get close to a clear, I'll be really excited.
That's awesome.
And interesting, they're changing every course today that I've seen, Karen. They've changed all the jumps, and they've been totally different tracks, which I think is a huge, advantage in terms of jumping on fresh ground. But I think that it's also a disadvantage when you're sitting here watching all day, because you could really learn a lot watching how these lines are ridden by the likes of Leslie and Sarah and
Yeah,
some
absolutely.
of these great riders. But now you got to go in and try something kind of out of nowhere.
So this next course, it starts over on the other side of where we're sitting, going towards, the first fence is going towards the in-gate which is always a distraction to a horse.
It is, and I'll tell you what, I'd rather be jumping it that way than in the 3-star. They jumped into the crowd. And I saw Samantha Tinney really paid handsomely for her horse being a bit spooky. That was a tough start for her, but I'll take going toward the in-gate any day, because I figure I'll probably get to the other side at the very least. And then we go left around to an oxer going away from the start.
Across a diagonal.
Related distance to a vertical at 3, and then down the outside line that we just saw jumped in the 4-star.
Yeah, under the Jumbotron and under the flags.
What do we got there? We got 7 and 1, hopefully, if they don't change that.
Yeah.
And then we come around to another oxer away from the in-gate, up to I believe it's like a green and brown gate at 7.
Yeah.
And then rollback turn to a water tray.
I think it's the water tray.
Yeah, which.
And then that bends you left to your 9AB, which is the combination, and down to number 10, which is going to be the what did you call that?
The music note.
Music notes?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll call it Lady Chatterley's.
And then your last fence is going to be.
Look at that.
Yeah, sure did. And then the last fence is the last fence from the other class, but going the other way.
And I think that'll actually. I think that could be tricky. They had that jump in the 3-star and it jumped okay, but I think it's a bit light. It's not quite the same color of the sand, but I think that's a little bit plain to be jumping as your last jump.
It's plain, and there's the truck, the Ford truck behind it. So
yeah, I don't love that.
No.
And there's an American flag,
American flag flapping
in the background. So there's plenty to hold these young horses off of getting to the other side. Hopefully nobody comes victim to that, but you never know.
And the 4-star was sponsored by B&D Builders. Just take a second to thank them so very much for their sponsorship at this inaugural event at Terranova. They're located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. B&D builds fine custom equestrian facilities that will exceed your expectations. You can see B&D Builders' craftsmanship and creativity and their attention to detail in their very own Terranova stable here on the grounds. It's an amazing stable. Have you had a chance to get inside?
Unbelievable. No, I know Zach Kettlebeater and I grew up together.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, he's from Wisconsin and I'm from Northern Illinois, so I know Zach very well. But I need to hassle him about getting a tour of this place.
Wow, for sure. I need the tour as well. Yeah. They did a tour first thing this morning, but it was during the trot up, so I wasn't able to see that.
Anybody that's interested in this level of work needs to come talk to these B&D Builders.
Yeah, it's amazing.
An unbelievable facility, and what a great representation of what they can do.
And a lot of the builders are here on the grounds, and they're having a great time watching this competition. So we're just having a listen of Nico announcing and presenting the winners of this division in reverse order. So Let It Be Lee's in 6th place. $1,250 for that.
What a great thing to have prize money at the very
it's just
first
awesome.
event. I mean, that is a great sign for things to come.
Absolutely. There's Mark Grandia with Campari. Team Rebecca.
It's hard to pick a ride of the day, Karen, because there was some great riding, but I would say Leslie and Mark are right up there. Maybe I give it to Leslie because he did it twice, but
Right.
Mark definitely showed that he's not going anywhere.
That's for
being
sure.
a West Coaster, giving that horse an amazing ride.
Yes. There's Leslie's 3rd place horse.
So if you had to pick a horse to ride around this 4-star, Karen, based on the ones you just saw, who do you pick?
Well, I think that's a really, really cool horse, typically Fernhill.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
But I always really liked horses that didn't really pull at all. So, that I could really ride aggressively.
Right.
So I love watching these horses in show jumping that are like that, that hold themselves, hold their posture, and out on the cross country, you can't push them past their balance. Or always the fastest horse.
Right.
What a great weekend for Sarah.
Amazing. She is going to be so excited.
She is.
I'm assuming, like everybody here, she's going to take these two horses to trial and
I think she
test their luck on a little
Absolutely.
longer course, and I think they
Absolutely.
look ready.
Lady Chatterley.
What a great weekend for Leslie and his team. There's Zach and Hannah Kettlebrother. They're
Yeah,
presenting the prize to
they are
Leslie.
the
They put
owners
so
of this
much
lovely
work
facility,
into this place. And we're so
and
grateful.
they are doing every job.
They are.
I
They're
mean,
running around like
Just
wild people.
you see them on a tractor or a golf cart zipping around, or they don't care. I mean, every job is
Yeah,
exciting for
they're
them.
all over it, and we are so grateful for everything they've done to bring this event to where it is right now.
So Leslie is riding on the Smart team for the charities.
Great. And what is that? What is that team? I haven't heard about that.
You haven't heard? So Smart is the Sarasota Manatee Association for Riding Therapy.
All right.
Their mission at Smart: we empower lives through the healing power of horses through therapeutic horse-related programs and activities our Smart riders and their families' quality of life and significantly improved.
Very cool.
And here we have the national anthem.
UK. United States. Ahí está bien. Sí.
The trip home, back up the hill to Ocala, that's going to be a real short trip for Leslie.
Yeah, no
It's
kidding.
always a quick trip when you're at a really successful
You're the
weekend.
champ. All right, Leslie Laura.
And Sarah in second. She's had some weekend. There's Mark Grandia, Lisa Wallace. I'll let it be Lee. And Jenny, she also is in there for a prize. That's a tough break for her, though.
It is, but you know what? Jenny's horse went game busters in 2 phases out of 3.
Yeah.
Clearly, she's up to the job, and
For
she'll
sure.
be back for another one. There's no doubt about it. If you're going to lose to somebody, you might as well have an Olympic gold medal around his neck.
Right.
It's always easier to swallow that.
Yeah, absolutely. You mean as opposed to the 14-year-old girl in pigtails?
Yeah,
Still?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm never into that. That's a tough one.
It's so true, though. We do compete in various age groups in the open divisions, and I'll never forget, I'm at the scoreboard, and I'm quite a bit taller than this girl in front of me, and she looks at the scoreboard and she goes, "Yes! Yes! I just beat Karen O'Connor." And I'm like, oh God. It's so cute, though, huh?
And we all do it. you
Yeah,
know?
we do.
We all do it.
So this charity competition is really quite interesting and innovative. They've got the 3 charities, Meals on Wheels, and of course we just talked about the
Smart.
group for the therapeutic riding, manatees. It's the Meals on Wheels and the Manatee and the Southeastern Guide Dogs, and those 3 are all competing against each other with their teams, and the teams are every competitor here. So there's three
Right.
teams of about 50 or so people on them, and they add up all the scores at the end, and the first place gets 10 grand
Yeah, it's really
to the
cool.
donation for the charity.
And anytime you can bring our sport to a new area of the world and bring some more value to it than just
Absolutely.
people riding horses around a ring over jumps. I think that's the most important thing. What more can you ask for? Trying
Absolutely.
to give it back to the people around the community.
Well, I was talking to Hannah yesterday. She's driving me around in the golf cart, and she said that I asked her. I said, "Now, this turf was it like this, or was it a lot of bush?" And she said, "No, it was bush." And I said, "Like this over here on one side," and she said, "No, like this over on this other side," which I couldn't even see through it.
Oh wow!
I could not see through it. And I said, "So how long have you been working on it? 5 or 6 years?" She goes, "We haven't had the property for 3 years yet."
Wow!
And she said the first day that Mark Phillips came to go find a cross-country course, when he came out of the bush, he had prickers and thorns and everything all over his body and all over his clothes. And she said it was really something. And now look at it.
Amazing.
It's like a golf course.
It's world class, isn't it? I mean,
Absolutely.
even from a spectating perspective, there are so many great things to see without having to cover a whole lot of ground. It's a very big place, but you can plant yourself and watch
A
cross
lot of
country and jumping. And as this event goes on, I'm sure they'll get more than one ring going at a time, and it's just going to be such a great
Well,
place
it's a
for
careful
the
what you
sport.
wish for. They were thrilled with the number of competitors this time, but the word on the street is everybody's going to be here next time,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're going to be having hundreds and hundreds of competitors.
It's just going to be a great venue for the sport, and I think it's going to be able to compete with anywhere in the country, if not the world. I think it's going to be unbelievable.
So it looks like they have reset the course, and then they have to have time for the riders to walk the course, of course, and that's where you have to step out, Alex.
That's right.
I think we're going to take a bit of a break and let Alex get on with his afternoon. We wish you the best of luck, and
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I'm
we'll be
looking
back
forward
just
to-
before they start your big division.
All right, I'm looking forward to trying to fix everything I criticized everybody else about. So here we go.
I'm
sure-
Karen O'Connor, and with Alex O'Neill, and we both want to thank you very much for listening to us and watching these wonderful horses on this beautiful property at Terranova. See you in a moment.